Our team, our community. This is Condors Town, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
What up? Happy Tuesday morning, everyone in B-Town. My name is Erik Fox here from Energy 95.3. Normally, we travel south to meet my friend Ryan Holt down at the Mechanics Bank, but now we're traveling north, and we're getting yet another tour of yet another hotel as Ryan Holt is in Stockton. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, and I'm covering up the fact that I didn't make my bed this morning too, so that my mother doesn't yell at me. But yeah, everything's good. We're getting ready for round 2, game 1 here tonight.
Well, let's go and do as we always do. We kind of talk about the parent team first. Let's go and talk about that series because that series has been definitely an interesting one. I mean, of course, game 1 was very close. They dominated 2 games and then had kind of a reverse domination for game 4, and the series is tied. What are you seeing?
Yeah, best of 3 series now, and the Oilers have home ice advantage for 2 of those games. So I think if you told Edmonton or anybody, hey, you'd be 2-2 and heading home after game 4, I think they take that. Now, the way the roller coaster has been in this series, and the Kings coming out and taking game 1, stealing game 1, and I don't think the Oilers have played bad really at all in this series. Even in the game. It was kind of a little bit of a clunker. They didn't have a great start, but, I thought that they still had their chances and, pucks didn't go in. So I still like the way the Oilers have played in this series, and I like them moving forward. So I don't think there's a reason to hit the panic button just yet, but a huge game tonight against LA. It's, I'll take the line that Jay Woodcroft uses, and the fact that, momentum doesn't carry over from game to game. And, he says that I kind of believe it. But at the same token, when you're living it, when you're in it, it feels a little different, and we could talk about it with like the Condor series last week with Abbotsford. It felt different going into game 2 than it did for game 1.
Right.
The team that won game 1 had, a significant momentum boost coming out of game 1. So we'll see what happens tonight, but it's a big game, obviously, against LA, and, a win would go, a long way for the Oilers.
What does that do with them? Because, Quick pretty much transformed into a brick wall that last game.
Yeah.
How did they respond, and what do they need to do?
Yeah, and Ken Quick stand on his head for, 4 wins, I think is what, kind of the series is boiling down to. The NHL, too, as well, with home ice changing. It's a little bit, it happens in the AHL as well, but especially line matchups in the NHL, being able to get McDavid away from certain centers, not to go against Kopitar, or go up against Danault, or however they want to match it. When you're at home, you have the opportunity to kind of set the lines the way you want them, the matchups the way you want. We've seen it in the Pittsburgh Rangers series where New York at home was a completely different team than New York on the road, because they were able to set who was going to play against Crosby and who was going to play against Malkin, and that type of thing. So it's a little easier being at home. Quick's going to have to stay on his head, I think, because the Oilers, for as poorly as they played on Sunday, they still had their chances and they still had their opportunities, and that game is a little different if one of those pucks goes in, and that's a 2-1 game or a 2-2 game going into the third.
Well, let's go and talk about being home, and that's something we were entirely in round 1, but round 2 is a little different. As you can see, the mighty hotel lithograph that has been purchased at some swap meet somewhere.
It's like a lake with a sailboat or something.
It's not too. No, don't move too much, because we're going to see your bed unmade.
Yeah, the bed's unmade.
So Stockton, it's going to be a little different because, first of all, Stockton has not yet played in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They always say that the playoffs are a lot different than regular season. So Stockton, really, we haven't seen them on the ice yet. And, the Condors gotten some of their ice legs underneath them. Let's do like we did last time and kind of break down position by position, if that works for you. Let's go and start with our defensemen. What are you seeing with the defense lineup?
Yeah. The Condors only allowed 3 goals in 2 games, and that included overtime. Against a high-powered Abbotsford team. They're going to see just as good of an offense in Stockton tonight. And I think they're 2 different types of teams. Stockton's a little more, playoff ready in the sense of, kind of how they're built. And they have small, shifty forwards. The Condors have tree trunks on the back end. So Bakersfield has done a nice job against Stockton. Now, does the regular season carry over to the postseason? I don't know, but the Condors won 4 of the last 5 matchups. They only allowed 6 goals against Stockton in the last 5 games. That included a game where Stockton scored 3. So basically, they gave up 3 goals in the other 4 games, which is ultra impressive against a Stockton team which finished second in the league. So defensively, the Condors match up well against Stockton. It's a big physical Condors defensive core against a small, shifty, type of a forward group, with Stockton. So we'll see how this series plays out. But, I think that's a pretty good matchup for the Condors, despite the fact that Stockton has some really, talented forwards, and they have 2 guys in the top 10 in scoring. They don't have that kind of explosiveness where they kind of get on you and they put up 7 on you any given night. Now that could happen, but they're a team that usually wins games 3-2 and looks pretty good doing it. The Condors defensively are pretty good.
Let's talk about those forwards. What are you seeing with the forward matchup when they're going to be 3 against 3 out there?
Yeah, the Condors have 3 really solid lines, and we saw it in the Wednesday game game 2 against Abbotsford, being able to spot that 4th line and use that kind of energy line. Now the Condors have gone 11 forwards, 7 defensemen. They went 12-6 the other night. It just depends on who's going to be available going into tonight. But guys you're seeing step up, guys like Adam Cracknell and Dino Cambites and Noah Philp and Tim Schaller. These are playoff type players. These are greasy, hard-nosed, physical type of players. The goal that ended up winning the series from Cooper Marody was him barreling his way into the blue paint and finding the puck and putting it in. I like what the Condors have done offensively. It's a group attack, right? It's not looking at any person and going, hey, you got to go out and score tonight. It's a full group attack. It's 3 lines, 3.5 lines coming at you in waves. And, when that momentum starts going, when the Condors are able to play 5-on-5 and just keep it going, that's when, this Condors team really has success.
And of course, you got the forwards, you got the defense, but you got the guys that are going to have to stand on their head between the pipes. Let's talk about the goaltending matchup.
Yeah, it's 2 of, if not the best goaltenders in the league, the 2 best goaltenders in the league, and Dustin Wolf and Stuart Skinner. Wolf won the Goaltender of the Year award in the AHL, and deservedly so. Had a terrific first half of the season. Stumbled a little bit in the second half, didn't get as much playing time just because he was up in Calgary for a little bit, but a rookie, so he'll make his first Calder Cup playoff start tonight. And Stuart Skinner on the other end is battle tested, has done just about everything you can do in the American Hockey League. Back-to-back 20-win seasons, stopped 57-60 in the first round, was a brick wall for this Condors team. And the Condors don't allow much, but that said, Abbotsford did get 32 shots a game on them in that first round. It was some overtime as well too, but I think you go into the series looking at the goaltenders going, all right, that's a wash. So how else are you gonna be able to beat the other side? Because both goaltenders are stellar. Would not anticipate a high scoring series. The opposite can be said for the other series in the Pacific, which is Ontario and Colorado. I think the overs for those games are set at about 10. So this one's completely different between Bakersfield and Stockton. Nothing that separated these 2 teams. And the goaltenders, it's a wash between those 2. They're both fantastic.
It's going to be a heck of a series to watch. Of course, game 1 happens tonight in Stockton. That's why Ryan is not in his normal orange or blue digs behind him. He's instead got some
it's like a
Stockton
mauve yellow
hotel background.
Yeah, it's like a mauve yellow and navy blue.
The one colors you don't see like in any home, but you'll see them in every hotel. That's right there.
Yes.
So people want to check it out tonight. Obviously, there is a watch party going on for this game, right?
Yeah, AHL TV tonight and tomorrow. Both games are at 6:30, and all of our road games are on at McGarry's Irish Pub, which is at Brimhall and Callaway. It is 21 plus, but great drink specials and great atmosphere over there. It's a cool spot and a place we enjoy going. So they'll have them on the TVs, and hopefully get a couple wins here this week and back home on Friday for Game 3. Going to be a big one back at home. Looking forward to getting back in front of the home crowd. But tonight's big. Stockton's had, as I mentioned, 10, 11 days off, and Condors have had some rest. But I think that's good for the Bakersfield Condors because We got some injuries, get some chance for some guys to potentially get back into the lineup, which is great. So we'll see what happens tonight, and it's a big one to kind of come up here and try and steal, knowing that you come back home and have an opportunity on home ice to take home ice advantage.
And of course, we'll be back for every game of this series as we are going through playoff mode tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Ryan and myself will once again be connecting up. Make your bed before next time, please. We're going to hear from your mom.
Yeah, I'm gonna call the housekeepers in pretty soon, I think.
There we go. Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3 AHLTV.com tonight. Or I'm drawing a blank.
Gary's Irish Pub.
Thank you. That's all going down tonight. So let's go Condors Town, and we'll see you next time on a. We're going to be celebrating the first one of the series.
I hope
that's just what's going to happen. 9 a.m. tomorrow. We'll be back with you once again with another Energy Condors connection right here with Energy 95.3.